Hey everyone, welcome back to the Alehorn for February 2024. The gentleman to my left here, very special guest. I've had him on a long time ago in the audio only days. The governor of the underground, Dr. Doom himself, Mr. Todd Severin. How you doing, man? How is it out there in California?
It's actually a little crazy right now. I'm going to apologize in advance if you hear my dog going crazy. We got this atmospheric river coming in. You probably heard about.
Yes.
So the whole state is like right in the crosshairs of this thing. So far it hasn't been bad. It's wet and it's windy, but it certainly could be worse. But the wind's picking up right now, so the front door's rattling, and that's going to key off my dog all the time. So
I'm watching the wind in the background of your window there. It's I'll keep you updated if it looks like it's going to get crazy or something's coming through
yeah,
about to hit
tell
the
me
back
to
of the head.
duck if I got a duck.
Something's coming. Like if I see something hurling your way, I'll tell you to duck. No worries.
What you can't see out there is that we have a gazebo with like a canvas top,
Yeah.
and it's already shredded. It got destroyed.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah, so we'll see if the structure stays up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'll let you know what I can see from here, but trees are blowing pretty good. So yeah, I'll give you a heads up. So yeah, so we've been talking about doing this for a while, but it's finally the time after delays and vacations and holidays and other stuff. We're here to talk about this jewel right here, Burn on the Bayou. Got my 3 disc set when it went on sale because I've been waiting for this for it seemed like a long time, way longer than it should have been. I know there was production delays and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that and when we get to the story. But let's just get into like what was the nucleus of getting this record going. Like it was just I remember you telling me in another conversation it was just like a Facebook message group idea that you threw out there, and everyone just pretty much committed to it.
Yeah, dude, you're probably never going to have a project that comes together more organically than this one. And before you started recording, we were talking about COVID times and how
Yeah.
everybody was in lockdown and yada yada. So I think this probably came together in 2022, like around February-ish of 2022. We were might have been in 2021 though. I'm a little bit obscure on the dates. Let's say it was 2021, and we were in COVID and we were in lockdown, right? And I told you because of my particular job, I didn't have the ability to actually lock down, so I was going in every day, and was actually working harder than before because I had to make up for diminished capacities through the office.
Hmm.
And finally, we got a vacation. And one of the first vacations that we took, my wife rented a Airbnb up the California coast, up by Mendocino, and we went up there with our dogs, and it was phenomenal. Just a week of nothing, right? Just
Right.
relax. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking out over the ocean through the window, and I've been playing with the idea of doing a tribute, because a lot of people like tributes, and I like tributes too, but I like tributes done in a certain way. I don't necessarily like tributes that are done to some of the more revered bands because people don't want to fuck with that music.
Right.
If you do a Lizzie tribute, you give it some bands involved, they're going to give you their best Lizzie, which is cool. I can respect that, but I don't want that. I want you to have a really cool song that you can fuck with and make it your own. And nobody's really ever going to do that with, Lizzie or Sabbath or something because it's just they're too revered.
Yes.
I wanted somebody that got the song structure that is great that would kind of slide into the genre very well. And CCR, of course, is from the bayou. They're right from the swamp. And so we have a Facebook group of Ripple Family, is what it's called, the Ripple Family Facebook. It's a private group that's just for the artists. So whenever a band joins, they're invited into the Facebook group. And it's a place for us to toss out ideas and support each other and, plan gigs or whatever, the band stuff, label stuff. And I was sitting there looking out over the Pacific, on my very first vacation during COVID, and I go, I'm thinking about doing a tribute. What would you guys think about CCR? And quite honestly, within an hour, in fact, I have right here. Oh, let's see, is this it? Yeah. So I had my trusty pen and
Nice.
my trusty notebook with me. And within an hour, I'm scribbling as fast as I can to be writing down all of these. Okay, High Priestess wants Bad Moon Rising, Curse the Sun once effigy, Shotgun Story once run through the jungle. I just go. They're coming in as fast as I could write. And so we had the entire set list pretty much compiled within an hour of me putting up that Facebook list.
Nice. That's cool, man. Yeah. Would you agree with me that CCR is probably the greatest American rock band? Really? I mean, when you think about it, like John Fogerty, like how many hits has this guy like wrote in like a short period too? I mean, they're putting out like 2 albums a year. They're only around for like 4 or 5 years. It's
Seriously,
insane. Yeah.
those first 4 or 5 records, I agree with you. His discography gets kind of crazy. They're insane.
Yes.
I mean, so many. There's I think that I have a CD that I got like a German import like way back in the 80s, and it was like the top 20 songs of CCR, and they're all hits.
Yeah.
And not even all the hits were on there. It's like they'll always forget something like, have you ever seen the rain, or who'll stop the rain? It's like they'll choose one or the other, but they won't do both, sort of thing.
Right.
The man was incredible. I would definitely put it up. I mean, I love CCR, obviously. Always have. As far as being the best American rock band, he certainly is probably one of the best American rock writers.
Sure.
As far as the best band, I'm still going to kind of Skynyrd's in there somewhere for me, man. I love Skynyrd.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Skynyrd.
Yeah. It's a different it's a different cadence, but like to me, they're both really good. I mean, like I know there's like Sweet Home Alabama and stuff that's overplayed, like way overplayed. But like, when you get into like the beat, like the deep cuts and stuff, there's some really, really good stuff in there. Like people just don't ever talk about. Yeah.
Really good stuff. I agree. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not going to dispute you. It's kind of like the same thing that happens with Zeppelin. You've heard it so many times. It's like, oh God, whatever. But the truth is, a while back, all of a sudden, I developed this whole new appreciation for Zeppelin, even though I've been listening to them my entire life. Right now, on TikTok, I don't know if you go on TikTok at all, but I get these video feeds that come across every once in a while where it's people wearing earphones listening to a piece of music for the first time in their life.
Yeah.
And it tends to be usually young blacks who are listening to rock music for the first time. And it's so cool to see their faces as they're listening and as they're ingesting this music, which they've never really been exposed to before. And one of the songs that's going through a lot right now is Freebird, particularly the part where it breaks down into the guitar solo.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, man, overplayed Freebird, definitely. Stairway to Heaven, I get it. That is a freaking amazing guitar part.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
They've actually added into the playlist at my local grocery store, which is nice sometimes.
Yeah, I love Creedence. I mean, for sure. I saw John Fogerty play once, and he's just a legend.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, the amount of songs that guy wrote, man, is amazing. Like, I think he's the only artist that ever got sued for sounding like himself. Also,
correct. Right. That's that was center field, right? I think that he got
so.
sued
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, that's pretty awesome in its own right, So yeah, like there's just like so many songs, but so getting into like the making of this, like once you got like the set list kind of established, like how did you decide like where to cut it off at? Because 3 discs is no slouch for production,
No, seriously, and you're talking about the reason why the record took a while to come out, and part of it is because 3 discs.
Right.
I had to. It takes a little money to put out a 3-disc record, and I didn't want to charge too much for it because I want people to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, I wanted the Ripple artists to get their versions heard. So $31.99 for a 3 album. That's less than some people charge for a single album these days. So it's not something that I'm making money on. I just had to get the money together so I could even afford to do it. When I think it was when Magnetic Eye originally did the Jimi Hendrix tribute.
Right.
They did. I think the first one was a double disc, and then they came out with, and here's another bonus one. Right. So you got 3, but you really had to buy it as 2 separate things.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to do that either. And I didn't want to do a volume one and a volume two. I just wanted to present this the way it came to me,
Right.
with, and I didn't want to cut out any of the bands that committed because they're all Ripple family and they all deserve to be heard. Um, so I just went with it. Quite honestly, I contacted Kent Stump of Wofat, who couldn't contribute a song because come on, Wofat doing CCR would have been pretty nice.
Yeah, man. Of
We
course. Yeah.
talk about the swamp,
Yeah.
but still, he's got that swamp vibe to to master the whole thing, which he did. And so then it was just really a matter of breaking it up and coming up with a track order. You know, when you're dealing with bands, who's first, who's last, you know what I'm saying? There's always extra layers
Right.
that you have to consider. So essentially, to make it easy on myself, I decided I'd do it just in alphabetical order. So if you look, for the most part, it is kind of alphabetical. It then kind of got broken down away from that just because of what was going to be able to fit on the sides.
Yeah, actually, I
And
never
then
noticed that until you just told me that. That's pretty
yeah,
cool. I did notice you put JPT's Caravan number one because they were your number one signing, which made
that's
sense.
exactly right. Right. When
So,
JPT wrote me and said that they were going to do, their version of Run Through the Jungle, and they, they don't record together anymore. They're all over the place.
right.
And in fact, the drummer has since passed away since that song came out.
That's too bad.
But JPT Scareband was the very first signing that Ripple ever did. So when they said, "Hey, we're going to do this," respect. You're first. If anybody wants to argue with me about it, go right ahead. JPT Scareband's first.
Right.
And then that also meant that I was going to be putting Master Nasty, who is Shotgun Sawyer, really last, just because they're doing the same song,
Yeah.
and I
Okay.
didn't want those near each other. And I was pretty good about not letting people do the same songs, period. But on the bonus tracks, which you can get on the digital and on the CD,
Mhm.
I did include second versions of songs. Like we had Kyle Schuett from The Sword wanted to do a version of Sinister Purpose. And that song was already done earlier, but what am I going to do? Say no to Kyle Schuett from The Sword? I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty
you're right.
cool. So I gave people the opportunity to contribute a second version of a song was just going to have to go into the bonus tracks, and they all understood that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I remember. So when I first listened to it, obviously it's easier to listen to on driving for me because there's so many songs. But I played a little fun game. Was I didn't familiarize myself with the bands or the songs that were on here, and I just listened to it going in blind and seeing how many I could actually guess that were correct. And there was a lot that I had no
That's
idea.
cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
there was a lot that I really had no idea what the hell it was until like I heard a lyric or something. Like some of them sound so foreign that I was just like, what
Right.
is this? But there is some songs on here like let me reference back here. Susie Q has like hardly any drums.
Right.
Like maybe toward the end, I was like, man, this works really well, even though it's nothing like CCR's cover of Susie Q, which I thought was amazing. So yeah, there's some really, really awesome versions of songs on here that are just done like in a way I would never thought of.
Well, and that's going back to what I was saying. It's you would have to be pretty ballsy to do that with the Thin Lizzy song.
Yeah,
Can you imagine doing "The Boys Are Back in Town" without dual guitars? Right?
exactly. Yeah,
It'd be weird.
yeah.
It'd probably be cool. In fact, I should probably do a Thin Lizzy one where you're not allowed to use dual guitars. Just
Oh yeah.
and you can't overdub your guitar,
Just three piece bands.
or two piece, whatever. I just want to hear because I mean the truth is that the song structure of Thin Lizzy would be strong enough to carry that off. It's just that nobody's got the cojones to do it.
Right.
So with this one, like I said, and I told them straight up. And in fact, I don't know if I'm going to do another tribute. As you can imagine, this was a hell of a lot of work. But
Yep.
if I do, it will be, and have a couple things in mind. Another total surprise band. It's like something that you're not going to expect. It's like I'm not doing this, but like Stoner Doom versions of Bread songs or something, right? It's like
Wow.
you
Yeah.
never would expect it, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that one. But I don't know if you could heavy up "Baby I'm Gonna Want You." That'd be kind of interesting.
I got some ideas I was gonna throw at you at the end of the episode. See what you thought of some of them. But
Okay, and I'll tell you what my idea is. I'll put it out there. If somebody steals it, that's okay.
we'll save it for the end. We'll have a little fun with it.
Okay.
So was there any issues like getting rights to these songs to publish them, or is it just
Uh,
like something he gets the back end and probably doesn't even know about it really? You
yeah,
know?
he probably doesn't.
Yeah.
But it is done legally. It's usually not hard to get rights. Sometimes it gets a little complex, but there's a company called Harry Fox, which is basically a rights administration company,
Okay.
and they have a something called Song File. And so you go to Harry Fox Song File and you search, and you can get the songs that are under their control, which is almost everything. I mean, I don't know if they actually control them, like they're not the publishers, but they have the administrative rights to work with the publishers to basically be a one-stop shop. So you don't have to search forever to find it.
Right.
So you just go to Harry Fox, find the songs. You have to estimate what your sales are going to be, estimate what your downloads are going to be, and you got to pay for it all in advance. 31 songs, 32 songs, including the bonus tracks.
Right.
You're that by itself is a good chunk of change. But you do it right, then you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay. So is that Harry Fox or Hairy Fox? How do
H
you spell
A
that?
R R Y, Harry
Okay.
Fox.
So his name is just Harry Fox. Okay.
Harry Fox. But look, if you look up Harry Fox and then put in Song File, because Song File is like the administrative right portion.
Okay. I was just putting it in there for viewers if they're curious about this kind of stuff. So
Sure. And Song File is one word.
okay, cool. For everyone out there watching, if you're interested in making your own compilation, there you go. Is where to start at. But
Right.
yeah. So yeah, let's just go on to the artwork then. Who do we need to credit for this amazing artwork? And was the cover in the gatefold the same guy?
No, two separate guys.
Well, let's start with the cover first.
Okay. So again, when I say this thing came together so organically, you cannot believe it.
Right.
As I said, if within an hour I had written down everything about the entire song list, the song structure, all that. During that same time, really, this is all within the first hour while I'm looking out at the Pacific Ocean on my very first vacation during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking out. It's like CCR's got a song called Born on the Bayou. We're doing a Stoner Doom version of it. Burn on the Bayou just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I came up with it or one of the bands came up with it, but within a very short period of time, that came up. Boom, that's it. We're done.
It's
We got it.
very good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody, don't know who, suggested I check out the artwork of a guy named Cody Kuehl, Kuehl. And I did. I'm looking through the stuff, and believe it or not, that image was already done. I didn't commission it. It was sitting in his portfolio.
Oh, really?
And I looked at it and I go, this is fucking brilliant for what I want.
Yeah.
I love the vibe of that cover. Again, it's not the art you would expect with Stoner Doom stuff. I really was trying to expand and break out of certain conceptions and barriers.
Mm-hmm.
But it was evocative exactly of what the CCR cover should look like.
Yeah.
So I was all over it. That one came together right away. And then the guys from Jake the Hawk contacted me with Joe Murk, Mruk of Red Buffalo Illustration.
He did the insert, the gatefold.
And he did the inside.
Let me try to get up here without glare here. So if you can see that.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
I like the touches also in it. You got the Ripple logo on one of the sides of the cabinet or the stack, and then you also have an amp named Proud Mary down here. And I like the vines and stuff growing around it. The old abandoned riverboat ship. Like it's really cool, man. Like I have to say, like this is a pretty stunning piece of art. Just looking at it for the first time, I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome.
Do you want to know how much of a genius I am?
Well, I think we already know because I mean, you have like how many catalog numbers are you up to now for Ripple? It's got to be in the 40s, right?
No, but it's two. I was just doing something earlier today. I think we're in the 240s, maybe 250s.
Okay.
A little bit higher on CDs because we
Yeah,
have some
that's still a
CDs.
lot. That's still a
Yeah.
lot.
I am such a genius that I know to stay out of the way of artists and let
Yeah.
them create. So I did not tell Joe what to do for that gatefold. I told him what the project was, and I said I'm looking for something I'll use as the gatefold, and he created everything. I had nothing to do. I suggested nothing. I just said I like a gatefold. What do you got? And he started from the beginning sending me the pencil drawings, which when we're off, I'll send all that stuff you just for your own information, just so you can see it. I mean, they're just the original pencil drawing. You're going to look at me and say that could have been. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turned into ink, right? And then there was like the first version, which was fully done and painted and colored. But even then, he wasn't done with it. And I'm thinking it's amazing. And that's when he came back the next time with things like the Ripple logo on the amp, and it's all him. It's like with the bands. It's like with the Susie Q song. I
Mm.
didn't tell the bands at all what to do. I just gave them a framework. So that was Cities of Mars with Susie Bravo, who did that song. And when I first heard that one, that blew me away. There's a couple that were just like exactly what I was hoping for. That's one. I think High Priestess version of Bad Moon Rising is incredible because that is a High Priestess song. It could have been on any of the High Priestess records, and you wouldn't have known it ever was a CCR song because
Yeah.
they really made it their own.
Yeah.
And I think that Kind with Grapevine, I mean, Grapevine is such an iconic song and it's such a well known song, but Kind's version is just so heavy. They just really did a great job on that.
Yeah, I would agree. The Bad Moon Rising was actually one of the ones I didn't really get at first until I heard the lyrics.
Yeah,
I
they
feel
changed
they
it a lot.
Yeah, I feel they missed the opportunity by not changing the lyric to bathroom on the right instead of bad moon on the right, just because it's an ongoing joke. I would have done that for sure, but yeah, I mean, dude, there's so many like really unique ones. And the thing I like about it too is like a lot of the CCR songs are like 2.5 to 3.5 minutes long. There's some on here that are extended out to like 5 to 6 minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
it's cool, man. Like everyone really like just made the stuff their own. The only one I would say that was like kind of like really the same as CCR's, and not really, but like it didn't deviate too much was Bone Church's Fortunate Son. I thought that one was probably the closest version to the original version on this compilation. And even then they
yeah,
added in a bunch of stuff on their own, which was cool. But like from the get-go, it was like, okay, Fortunate Son.
right. I would agree with you. They did it the most straight up. I think the cool thing about it that way is that they have the talent to be able to pull it off that way, and the singers got the chops to sing it that way.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah, I know you released that one first. I didn't even listen to it when you released the song like weeks earlier. I just waited because I was like, no, I want this all in one listen. Like give me that one good shot, first time at least.
but the nice thing about it being as long as it is, like if you're in a car and you got a road trip and you get to kill a couple hours, there's so much variety in the way that the bands did the songs. It's almost like a mixtape,
Yeah,
of just really good songs.
yeah, I agree. Like I said, I just played a game for myself. Like I said, the first time I listened to it, I didn't look at the track listing or anything. I just hit like play, turned the screen off, and just guessed the songs as they came.
Were you ever able to guess the artist?
No, I didn't because there's so many. I knew Horse Burners right offhand because I just know Jack's voice and their tone, so that was the easy one for me. But like most of the artists, I didn't know either because I'm not totally versed in the Ripple family. I couldn't tell you every artist. You have so many. It's just like yeah, there's no way my brain can hold all this information without getting it all mixed up. So
Right.
so yeah,
Right.
but yeah, man, I enjoyed it, man. I've listened to it three times in full, and then I've listened to like songs or chunks here and there, or because I haven't even listened to the album yet on vinyl because I wait for my kids to be gone so I can listen to it loud and without interruption, and they haven't
Right.
left me alone for a good part of the day for a long time now. It seems like, and I can't get that time to listen to it at proper volume.
Well, you bring up something really interesting, which applies to this, but to really all aspects of just what I do with Ripple, is that bands send in their recordings usually as WAV files, and I
Yeah,
usually will play it then on my computer. and I have a good sound system for my computer, but it's my computer and it's a computer sound system.
Right.
So I know what it's good. I know I like it, yada yada. But when the test presses first come in, and I put that down on the turntable, it's like sometimes it just all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that was kind of one of the things with this record. Like, even some of the songs when the first versions came in, I'm all right, that'll work. But then you heard it on vinyl, it's like, oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm kind of really behind on some vinyls I need to listen to. I haven't listened to Howlin' Giant's new one on vinyl yet. I haven't listened to Lord Dying's new one on vinyl yet, which I'm a big fan of. There's a couple other ones. Um, what else? That's about it for right now. I can think of, and the Ripple and the Burn on the Bayou. I haven't listened to. But if you're curious, with the bonus songs on digital, it's 2 hours and 31 minutes.
That's a good road trip, man. That's almost all
According
the
to
way to Tahoe.
Spotify.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. They broke it into the CDs, not the vinyl. So it's got disc one and disc two.
So there are, just so that people know, there are 3 bonus tracks that are not on the vinyl. There's Kyle Schuett's Sinister Purpose. Ozone Mama did a version of Fortunate Son, and that had previously been released by them on a record many years ago. But I love Andres; he's a great guy, and I thought, sure, we'll put that on as a bonus.
Right.
And then Great Electric Quest came up with 2 different versions of Cotton Fields. One they did as a Doom version, and then the other one they did a little bit more straight up, almost a little bit more countrified version.
Right.
So I put the Doom version on. But I thought the other one was cool, and they went through the trouble of making it. I said, well, we'll use it. We'll put it on as a bonus. So that's how
Sure.
the 3
That's
bonus
cool.
tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Did all the vinyl versions sell out yet? Or you still got any left?
I think we're not sold out yet. Looks like we're down to about 50.
Okay, cool. So so recording this on February 4th, you have about 50 copies of this left.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if anybody
So
wants one, it's Bandcamp or ripple.bandcamp.com or Ripple
yeah,
Music.
Ripple Music.
Yeah.
ripplemusic.bandcamp.com.
Yeah. Yeah, I highly recommend getting it just for the gatefold alone, really. I mean, the gatefold is awesome. And then
Well,
everything else just is a bonus.
well, dude, I love hearing you say that, because I've always had a philosophy. Lots of bands like to have a gatefold, right? Because they're cool.
Yes.
And so if a band says, "Hey, we want a gatefold cover," my immediate response is, "What have you got for the gatefold?"
Right.
And they're, "Oh, we can put lyrics in there." I'm all, "Fuck that, man."
Kind of boring.
Yeah. I mean, come on. If you're going to do a gatefold, just so you know, a gatefold doubles the cost of producing a record.
Sure. Yeah.
The gatefold cover costs more than the vinyl if you do gatefold. And so and there's hidden costs. Like, you don't get as many copies of the record in a box because it's wider.
Right.
So you're shipping fewer per box, which means you have to ship more boxes to get them over from Europe. So a gatefold is going to increase the cost of the album by $2,000 on just a reasonable press run, which is cool. You do it if you got something for me in that gatefold that's going to make it. Because what I want with the gatefold is exactly what you did. You take the gatefold and you stretch it open, and the music's playing, and you're just going, "Fuck, this is cool," Oh, look at that, right? And you can stare at it like through at least like two or three songs. You can just be jonesing out on the gatefold.
Yeah.
So you give me something like that, well, we can talk gatefold. If you want to talk about lyrics and credits and maybe just some band picture, that's gonna go into an insert.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a killer band picture that's just going to blow somebody's mind, stretch open, like Kiss, right? Like Kiss Alive, where they're on the inside, you got the flames and you got everybody in their classic pose. I mean, when I was 13 years old and playing Kiss Alive, I looked at that picture for hours. I dreamed I was each one of those guys at one point in time, So,
yeah. Yeah, the Kiss Alive and the Kiss Alive 2 gatefolds are pretty stunning. I like the way they've been airbrushed for the photo and everything. It's really cool looking.
Yeah. I mean, again, I was 13 and I was a comic book collector, and I was really, really into rock music. I think our power might be just flickering a little. See, my light just went out there.
I did, yeah.
I don't know if hang in there.
Yeah, if it does, we can just finish it up later. No big deal. I can edit, you know.
But so I was 13 years old when the first record I got was Destroyer. Bought it right off the shelves, and then and then and then I got Kiss Alive.
Yeah.
And when you're a comic book collector and you got Kiss Alive, you got that gatefold, you're done.
Yeah, that's it. You're
You're
hooked.
done.
Yeah.
You're done.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm 44. If I saw that for the first time, I'd probably be hooked still. So, yeah, I never really grew out of that. Like, I remember getting Appetite for Destruction, like the cassette for like Christmas one year. Like, I guess my mom really just didn't look. And you know how they like had that one cover with like the woman with like one breast hanging out, like about to be like
The robot rape.
whatever by the robot, you know, and
Yeah.
that was like in the J card, and I was like, wow, I really have something amazing here. It's like I'm looking at this like woman's breast. I'm like, wow, I shouldn't have this, you know. Yeah, so there's just like that. You never forget, like, and it's just always like kind of stays with you, you know, when you like think back about like seminal albums. I mean, the
Right.
artwork is such a big part of that, you know, of those albums to me, you know.
Right. I agree with you. And that's why I was just so happy the way this artwork came together. So when I say it's organic, once again, within 1 hour, I had the set list, I had
Yeah.
the title of the album, I had the cover art done, and I'd contacted and probably even heard back from the gatefold artist, although I just hadn't seen anything yet. It took him a little while, of course, to do his work. Um, that's pretty cool. And I did it. I threw it up there like first come, first serve, right? Because if 3 or 4 bands come to me, the one that do the same song, I'm not going to sit there choosing who's going to get to do it.
Yeah.
Um, this was just open to everybody. Now, I did learn something very valuable about that, and I won't. I have to figure out how I'll do it next time. Most of the bands who are on this are American bands. There's a few European. City of Mars is on there. Kabbalah is on there. Stub jumped in. They're from England. But other than that, it's pretty it's pretty much American. Doublestone did a version of Pagan Baby. They're from Denmark, but they that was a song that they did as a regular rehearsal song. So they were already going and set on that song. And then it looks like we have Stonebirds who did Who'll Stop the Rain, which I think is a freaking amazing version of that song. But so what, 6 European bands out of 32?
Yes.
And
32 with the bonus track.
Right. And I learned why that is, because Americans and Europeans are just a little bit different. And when I throw something out to a group, like the Americans go, oh, and the Europeans are just a little bit more reserved, and they don't want to like just jump in like that. It's like that's not culturally the way they do things. They're just a little bit more laid back that way. So if I do something like that again, in order to get more of the European bands, I think what I'll do is present it as more like a Google Doc that just goes out to everybody and let everybody fill it back in. But then it's going to be up to me to pick and choose, which I was trying to avoid.
Yeah. But it seems like you're pulling favorites out that way, maybe.
Right. And, and Ripple Family is Ripple Family. And I don't want to make anybody feel like they're not as valuable to the whole family. So you can say I chickened out, but I did.
No, that's fine. Any songs that you were surprised didn't make it?
Yeah. I don't think there's a version of Have You Ever Seen the Rain on here. Stonebirds did Who'll Stop the Rain, which I love, because Who'll Stop the Rain is the one that's really not very often on CCR compilations.
Right.
But nobody did Have You Ever Seen the Rain, which of course it's a legendary song, right? I mean, that's a classic.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I don't know the deep tracks of CCR as well as I should.
Mm-hmm.
And so when some people were making suggestions like Commotion.
Yes, Commotion. That was one of the ones I was going to say I was surprised wasn't on there.
Yeah. I'm a Commotion. What What?
Yeah.
Where's that? What album's that on? What's Commotion? You didn't know it either, huh?
No, I did. Yeah, I know that one because it's I have Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2, and on Volume 2, a lot of the deep cuts are just on Volume 2. That's how I
Okay,
listen to those CDs a lot. So yeah, I knew
right.
them all. Tombstone Shadow was one I was surprised wasn't on there. If my band would have got to record a song on there, that's what I would have pushed for.
It would have been a good heavy version.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had ideas for that for a while. So yeah.
Um, and I thought that Salem's Been doing Walk on Water was an interesting choice too. Um, not necessarily the first CCR song that trips off my tongue.
hmm
So
The thing about CCR though is like even if you're not sure if you ever heard it or not, as soon as you hear like John Fogerty sing, you just think you probably know this song just because his voice is just like one of those voices where it's like there's nobody else that sounds like him. You just
right,
know it's him, whether it's CCR or solo stuff, So like it's just kind of one of those artists that's like, yeah, I know this song. It's like, but do I? I don't really know, but
right, right. I mean, and of course, he did however many 6 albums in 3 years, whatever it was. There is a little, style that it's
yeah,
CCR. It's like
yeah,
so you got a CCR coming, which is why he got sued by sounding like himself
sure.
because that's just who he is.
There's a documentary they released on Netflix that coincided with a live album that they released that I have. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good documentary. Jeff Bridges narrates it.
Oh, cool. Was that the live album that came out on Record Store Day?
I'm not sure. Believe it or not, I don't know why I did this, but I was at a job one day. I just pulled up to the job, and I always check my phone to see if I got any messages for like jobs in the afternoon or my wife or something. And Spotify sent me a notification like, "Hey, you might be interested in this." And like, what the hell did Spotify have to offer me? And they were selling a gold variant of this live album. So
Cool.
I bought the album through Spotify, which I thought was bizarre. I was like, what do these guys like have anything to do like physical media at all?
Right,
So
right,
I
right.
I bought it just to see if it was like what it was because I was like curious. And yeah, it's just a color variant of like the live album from Royal Albert Hall. They released a year or two ago.
Right, right, yeah. And I think that there was a version of that one that was the RSD release that because I tend to pick those up too. I got that one. I picked up a CCR live in Europe. I mean, I got a lot of records.
Yes, yeah. I probably don't have as many as you because I don't own my own label. But yeah, I have quite a few myself. There's sometimes I buy albums that I already have, and I'm like, oh shit. So I'm just like, I put it on Discogs.
There's a funny story about that because I know what I have for the most part. I kind of got the mind for it, and I do keep a log in my phone. But
Oh,
I
nice.
do a lot of dumpster diving, right? I mean, I'm a fiend through the dollar bin or the 50-cent bins. In the Bay Area, we got a lot of those,
Yeah.
and so I might go through a dollar bin, and I'll pull out whatever record, and it's $1. I'll go, great, awesome find for $1, right? And then you buy your stuff, and it goes down into the pile that's over here of this is what I need to listen to, right?
Mhm.
But the problem is stuff is constantly being added to that pile
Right.
much faster than I'm playing it. So that $1 version of that record, I might not ever, I might not get to listening to it for 3 or 4 years. And in the meantime, I might come across another dollar version of it. I go, okay, well, I'll buy this one too in case that one's bad.
Yeah.
And it became a joke with the band called Code Blue, who's a LA 3-piece kind of power pop band. They were pretty good actually. And I had like 4 versions of this one album because I kept buying it because I just wanted to make sure I had one that was good. And it's $1. So if it cost me $4 to get one good copy, I'm good with that, you
Yeah.
know?
There you go. Yeah.
So I have doubles.
Funny that you say that about dollar records. Do you have Goodwill in California or is
Yeah.
it okay? So
Yeah.
yeah. So I was at Goodwill killing time one day and I was going through their records and they were, $1 a piece. And I came across a Kiss Destroyer vinyl, and then I found Van Halen 1.
Nice.
Yeah, went out to my truck, put the records out on the floor, like in between the seat, keep them flat. Went out to the truck, headline Eddie Van Halen died at whatever. I had just bought Van Halen 1 and he passed. So
Oh boy,
I just keep that copy. It's like ragged as shit. It's been listened to well. I just bought like a nice poly bag, put it in. I just taped it up. I'll never listen to it because I was like, wow, this record
that's
was
your
bought on the day that Eddie Van Halen died. Like, what are the odds of that? Like,
right.
yeah, I
No,
mean, it's
that's
like
really cool.
right before the news hit, even like it was like breaking when I turned my phone on, you know. So I thought that was pretty. I thought that was a pretty cool coincidence. Yeah, I probably banged that one, just put some tape on it, and my kids will probably tear into it one day. And what the hell is so special about this? And they'll never really
Right,
know. But yeah,
right.
sometimes those dollar records hold meaning, man, just for whatever reason.
Well, yeah. I mean, a couple things about that. First of all, totally cool, man. That's a very poignant story.
All right, we're back after our little hiatus from the power company internet and going out. So let's see, where were we? We were talking about the Van Halen 1 album that I bought used.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, that's where we left off. So we'll go ahead and pick it up from there.
Well, I think the cool thing that I wanted to say about that is because you bought it and it commemorates now for you a moment in time that you'll
Yes.
always remember. And I don't know about you in general, but that's the way my mind works. I mean, I can remember the song that was playing at just about every key event of my life.
Hmm.
I can I can remember my past by the music that was existing at the time.
Right.
You know, I've traveled around the world many times, and I don't take photographs. But everywhere I go, I buy music, and when I'm home, I play the music, and I'm immediately transported back to where I was.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
So yeah, so I just don't take photographs. I just put on the music, and I'm back, and I can see it all over again.
that's awesome. I mean, why do you need to share everything about your life with everybody? Like, why can't you just have stuff for yourself? You know?
I'm not a big social media sharer.
Yeah, just Ripple. That's it. Just Ripple share.
Just well, Ripple, you got to do
Yeah,
that
it's your
one.
business, of course. Yeah.
That's business. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool to start a label just to make records for yourself, but that would be costly.
It'd be a little costly, about $2,500 a record, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it'd be an awesome collection though. It's like I have 100 of this one and 200 of this one, and
well, I got actually a funny little thing is that I don't even have every Ripple release,
really,
really, because
I
there's
find that hard to
certain.
believe, man. I would like at least have one of every one of them.
Well, I probably have a copy of everything, but for example, the very first Moss Generator record we did, Nomads, the limited edition on that one, it sold out, and there was a customer who was just really, I need one, I need one, I
Oh,
need
I
one.
see.
So I, gave him my copy.
Yeah,
And like I have a mothership live over Freak Valley up there, which is one of the limiteds, but there were two limiteds that were done, and I don't have a copy of the other one. It's
hmm.
badass. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking record.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
don't know the one.
speaking of mothership, I was thinking about them the other day. Are they still active?
Not so much. Kells moved out to Arizona, so the boys aren't all in the same state anymore.
Gotcha.
And I know he's been playing with Who Do I Kill a lot recently. And I know that Kyle's been playing with another band. I think he was doing some stuff with Temple of Love, and then he was starting to do something else with another band. And I saw Judge actually put up a post recently saying, "Hey, anybody need a badass drummer?" So I don't. It's not like they broke up. It's just they, you know.
Moved apart.
But I was just talking to Judge today actually, and I think I'm going to be starting a Ripple anthology series because
Hmm.
we got some just evergreen bands, and like a really cool collection of the best songs from the four Mothership albums that we put out. I mean, that'd be a great way to get the name back out there, bring in
Yeah.
new fans. You do bands like Mothership, Wofat, Freedom Hawk. You know, we have a lot of good bands that we've done a lot of records with. So
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Would you do them on vinyl too, or just like CD or digital?
not vinyl,
Vinyl.
definitely vinyl.
Yeah. You use Pirates Press, correct?
I use Pirates Press and I use A to Z. I use them both.
Oh, okay. So you do you do one for US and one for international?
No, they both print at the same place, which is over in Europe. They
Oh,
both
okay.
print in Czechoslovakia. The biggest difference is I mean, this stuff gets minute, but A to Z is based in New York. Pirates Press is based in San Francisco.
Hmm.
If I have the record done with enough advance time, I can ship it to America via ship, and it just goes to New York, right? It just goes across the Atlantic.
Right.
You can't ship via ship to San Francisco. You have to air freight.
Right.
And via ship takes longer than air freight, but air freight costs significantly more.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just one of those little things you don't think about. It might cost you, $3,700 to press up a run of 500 records, but it's going to cost you $1,500 to get them to America.
Yeah.
It's at least 1,000, depends on what you're doing. So if I have the time to get the project going and I can do it out of A to Z, so I can ship it by sea, we can save 40% on the shipping, which means,
Wow.
it means that the retail price can be a bit cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just wondering how you did that. When you contact your pressers, like, hey, I got one ready. Are you like front of the line, or do you have to wait for like whatever the queue is?
Dude, Taylor Swift's at the front of the line.
Yeah, I know, man. Like I was talking to somebody at a record store like that worked at a record store I go to here in Asheville, and like on their like featured wall, like they have rumors. I'm like, why is this album always on the featured wall? Like this album is like 40 years old. Like, where is the new stuff? Like, why is this on here? Because it's a color variant. I'm like, like Taylor Swift and like rumors and like these like legacy albums. It's like, dude, why do these keep like just getting being pressed over and over and over and over and over? And like it makes stuff so expensive and hard for like local bands just like saving up like 2 years worth of gigs just to get their demo pressed on vinyl or something, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, and in general, when vinyl kind of came back,
Yeah.
see, Ripple started in 2009. Our first release was 2010. That was long before the vinyl resurgence started,
Hmm.
but I love vinyl. So our very first release we pressed on vinyl, which, as
Yeah.
you said earlier, was JPT Scareband. Um, so it wasn't that hard. You can get turnover in 6, 8 weeks on a project.
Right.
And as the vinyl resurgence got big and as the majors started getting in on it, see, the thing is, there aren't new presses being made. I think that Jack Black's record company, I think that he brought like 2 or 3 presses online that hadn't previously been online.
Hmm.
And I heard that there's one like in the USA where they actually like have made a new press. But basically, you're talking about the number of presses that has been handling all of vinyl production is just what's been left over from the 70s. And
Right.
and most of those had been previously dismantled, right? So there's only a few that were in working order. So there aren't enough presses to go along. And if you ever look at a video of the vinyl pressing process, particularly as colored vinyl and all the effects gets more and more popular, that's all done by hand. And if you look at how labor intensive it is to do one record, and you realize, that there's thousands and thousands and thousands being made every day,
Right.
it's the queues got pretty big. And then you got Record Store Day, which comes up now twice a year.
Yeah, I've noticed
And,
that. Yeah.
right. And they're not printing in the hundreds, they're printing in the thousands.
Right.
And speaking of Taylor, when she started redoing, what are you doing? My dog's crawling across my records back there. He wants his dinner. When Taylor Swift started re-recording her own record, right, to get the rights back away from whatever his face is, and then she pressed up that first one on vinyl. It was a double record, and she pressed 500,000 copies. Well, it's a double record, so that's a million records.
Yeah.
I mean, good for her. I'm not knocking Taylor. You got the power to do it, but I'll tell you, the press is going to choose that project over mine.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, to answer your question, I don't. I'm a small guy. We're definitely on the smaller end of things. We do a lot though. I mean, we've done 250 records already. So yeah, we're probably in the queue ahead of some labels that are smaller that haven't done as much and haven't established a relationship over the 15 years like we have. But I'm nothing special. We're Universal's getting it done before me, trust me.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame there's not just like just somebody who has a lot of money can just like make like an artist, like just an artist only, like direct to the artist press, because there's enough bands now and small labels that they could keep busy for
You know, there
perpetuity.
are there is a new one that just came online. I think it's in Chicago area, and I haven't really researched it. Um, because I think that that's probably designed more for almost what you have in mind.
Hmm.
Ripple is big enough that we produce a pretty fair volume of records each month, and they're being shipped all over the world. A typical shipment, if the band's in Europe, some of those will go straight to the band in Europe. Some of them will
Sure.
go to our distribution area in Europe because we have a European, shop now.
Hmm.
Some of them will come to America to our order house. Some will go to the band in America. They go all over the place, and you really need a company that's efficient to be able to handle all that. Um, I'm actually the last one to get the records. The bands, everybody else gets the records before me. I'm always the last one, but it's cool. I mean, it's just the way it's set up. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, man. Like I said, the record business, man, it's hard. I mean, we're lucky we have one here in Asheville now that just opened up like a couple years ago. It's actually like a big whole like bar and venue, and you can take tours and just like sit above in a balcony and watch them like, cut the records and stuff like that. So it saves on shipping. But they don't offer locals like any kind of incentive to use them or anything, except for like I guess you go pick it up.
well, I mean,
Um,
like I said, man, it's labor intensive. It
yeah.
really is. And that became a huge problem during COVID. COVID was a strange time, and you know, we got through COVID at the beginning better than I expected we would, but then it all came up and bit me in the ass later. Because we were, like I said, we were turning records over in 6 to 8 weeks, but I had built into our process a 4 month production time just to
Mhm.
give me troubleshooting, fixing errors. So when COVID first hit, a few things happened. First of all, because of the social distancing, you couldn't have two people on a press anymore. You only have one on a press.
Right.
And you weren't allowed to work on adjacent presses. So instead of having two people on adjacent presses throughout the factory,
Yeah,
you
skid
had
everything
one
up.
person
Yeah.
on every other press.
Gotcha.
So it killed production. But I had this built-in time, so it took us a long time. Other labels were saying, "Man, what's going on? It's going to take us a year to get this pressed or whatever." And I'm still turning them over in 4 months. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but we're still doing okay. Until that lead in time that I had got eaten up.
Gotcha.
And all of a sudden, I went from this project is not going to be ready for 8 months down the road.
Right.
Which, whatever, it is what it is. So we just kept pushing on. Um, but then it says more than you need to know. But so now you got this 8 month production lag, but the pre-orders were set before those were going off, right?
Mm.
And that's all based upon the manufacturing costs as well as the shipping costs. Well, over that 8 months, massive supply chain issues, manufacturing costs went up by about 35%. Shipping costs went up by almost 100%. But I had already done my pre-orders 8 months prior
Right.
on the old prices.
So you got lucky in that sense.
No, I got killed because I made the pre-order on what I had anticipated manufacturing to be and
Oh, I
shipping to
see.
be.
I see what you mean.
But
Okay.
8 months later, that's not what it was. So there was, for about 8 months, I lost money on every single record I released.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
rough.
yeah, but what are you going to do? It's like,
Yeah.
you promised it and the band's ready and the customers are excited about it. You just push ahead and, you just turn off the lights and save electricity. You got to do what
It's
you
one
got
way
to
to
do.
look at it. Yeah, just do it by a candlelight.
That's right.
Well, there's something I wanted to say last night before we got cut off. I was going to bring up. Then we'll wrap it up here. So you were saying about the triple vinyl being $31. I wanted to commend you on that because the last Iron Maiden album, Senjutsu, it was a triple album. It was like $50 or more.
Right.
So that just kind of shows you there's a little bit of markup on these bigger bands and labels. for sure.
Right. You know, it wouldn't do me any good to charge $50 for it and have people not buy it. I want people to hear it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather sell it just a little bit above cost and trying to make retirement off it, you know?
Right. I'm not retiring off of that record.
Right. And so the last thing was that I wanted to bring up is let's shoot some let me shoot some bands at you for interesting tributes and see what you think. Now
Okay,
you
hit
don't
me.
if I guess which one it is, all I want is to thank you in the credits. That's it.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
won't know until I see the next tribute album. So let's go Doom tribute to ZZ Top.
That's a really cool idea, but
Stoner tribute to Skinnerd.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's those two because they like I said, they're not really Doom influencers either. You know, it's not like you said, the Sabbath or anything like that. So it's a very different style for sure. A lot different
Right.
than CCR too.
And those are two bands that I can't think of there being a tribute to. I can't think of any, even a major label. I can't think of a tribute to ZZ or to Skinner.
Yeah, well, you can go with the Magnetic Eye stuff, and they do. I know they do albums, and then they do like greatest hits included. So they've done Sabbath. They did Back in Black with other hits on a like a CD or digital, and they did the hint, and they did one from Motorhead, I do believe. Um,
They did they do a
they did
Helmet
Owls and
record?
Chains, they did Dirt, and then they did the
Did,
Sabbath one, and then they did I'm pretty sure they did a
did,
Motorhead.
didn't they do Meantime by Helmet?
A tribute for that? I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think they
Maybe.
did. I like all those ideas. I think those are really cool ideas.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's not the one that was at the top of my mind,
Oh, that's cool.
but
Yeah, it's even better.
but
And
I think those
then
are cool.
yeah, then of course you could do like a Doom Stoner Doom to like Rolling Stones or a Sludge tribute to Rolling Stones even.
Sludge Stones would be cool
Sludge Stones,
because
yeah.
that would slow it down enough that you're really getting out of the basic blues riffing of the Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I just pick like really big like classic rock bands and just like take the most opposite genre and just like see what happens. Kind of like you did with CCR because like you said before, there's no Doom band I don't think it's influenced by CCR like saying like we want to sound like this.
Right,
Like
right,
you can be a fan of it, but like as far as like the influence of your band, I don't think anybody puts in like the want ads like, hey, looking for a drummer in the style of Sabbath, maybe Zeppelin, this and CCR. It's like what? That's a weird
right,
one. So yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I
So
think those are really cool ideas. If I do them, I'll let you know. This
yeah,
this
like I
is the
said,
guy that
if you do either one of those, I just want my name mentioned in the credits as a thank you. That's it. That's it. I don't need
this is
much.
why I keep turning around. This guy has knocked over every record in my office.
No worries. All right, pup. We'll let you get something to eat. And yeah, Todd, again, appreciate you coming on. I know last time we were audio only, so it's good to have a chat face to face. And yeah, man,
And him too.
good luck with all the Ripple stuff coming down the line. Do you have anything imminent coming up that you want to promote?
I think the coolest thing coming up right around the corner is the new Obsessed record.
Okay.
And Wino and the guys really knocked this one out of the park. They brought in Jason Taylor as another guitarist, so the Obsessed is a 4-piece for the first time,
Right.
and they just rock. That record rocks. That release is like the 16th of this month. So
Cool. Yeah, they're coming here to town in March on a tour with Howling Giant and Gozu. So yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and Wino's a legend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool tour because we worked with Gozu and we've worked with Howling Giant, so
Yeah.
little bit of
Yeah,
a Ripple tour.
you did the split with Howling Giant and Sergeant Hunter Thunderhoof. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I
and
have
it's
that actually. I bought one of their last copies from them time before last they were here. So
yeah,
happy to get that
it's I
one.
mean it's an amazing split. It's sold out. I have so many people asking me to press it again, but the whole concept on the split series was always to have it be limited to that particular run number. So
Yeah.
I've been resisting, but Howling Giant's blowing up, and it's a great record. I
Yeah.
might have to do it.
I think the way to do like limited edition stuff, if there's demand enough for like another run, is like if you did like a color or variant of some kind, just do the next one black. So everyone who has like the original one knows they have an original when it's not just a black record.
Right.
Yeah.
You just that's I agree with you. That's the only way you can do it because you don't want to do something as a limited and then screw over the fan by taking away that limited. Well, yeah, it was only 500, but then we did another 500. So
Yeah,
you have one of a
exactly.
thousand.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it has to be different so that the fan, has the value for what they originally bought.
yeah. I agree. Yeah, I always like I every time a band out like puts our pre-sale up, I always hope I can get in on time for the the limited edition splatter color whatever
Right.
it is. So
Traditionally, that's what we do. We do like 250 black and then 250 of a limited color.
right.
For the really big bands, I think like for Hermano and for the Obsessed, I think I did three versions.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably pick theirs up at the merch table. I have like all Howlin' Giant stuff basically. So I told them they need to make more stuff so I can buy from them. I have
When is Obsessed coming through?
March 19th, I think.
Oh
I
yeah, they'll
think
have the
yeah,
records then. They
yeah,
will. Yep.
yeah. So pretty excited. Like that, they've played in pretty small places here in town. Like this venue is pretty small, but it's not even the smallest they've played. They played in the back of a record store a couple years ago, which I thought was pretty badass. It sold out really quick, so I didn't get any tickets for that. I probably could have got in anyway because like I know the guy who owns it. He probably would just let me go on, but I just didn't make it. But
Wino. He's played with David Grohl and Probert. He used to hang with Lemmy. This guy's a legend.
yeah.
It's like it's a shame that he's playing in the back of a record store.
Well, the record store is pretty cool. I mean, it's got a cool vibe. Like, I don't know what I don't know how it came about because there's a band here called Tombstone Highway. That's a very well, they're influenced by the Obsessed. Like they make no bones about it. And Wino's actually sang on one of their songs they recorded.
Oh, that's
Play with
cool.
them.
That's cool.
So they played in that show. They opened up for Tombstone Highway opened up for the Assessed on that in that record store back room, and they're also opening the show in March too. So yeah, good for
That's
them.
awesome.
That's cool. And you're a fan of someone, you make a friendship.
Yep. And then
Yeah,
don't forget, Gozu is a kick-ass band too.
yeah, yeah. The only thing I don't like about it, it's on a Sunday night, so I'll have to go to work late. But other than
Uh,
that, it is what it is.
uh, I hate Sunday night shows, man. I don't go out on school nights.
Better than Monday night, I'll tell you that much.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know. Sunday nights is like okay, it's still kind of the weekend, so yeah, it's not. It's like you don't have to like disrupt your schedule after you get into it, like on like a Tuesday or Wednesday show where you're like, okay, in by 5, in bed by 10, and then like here's this show. It's like, ah, shit. I gotta
Right.
disrupt my whole schedule. I gotta eat earlier than I usually do. I gotta get home later than I usually do. Yeah, the weekday shows, I'm getting too old for them. Unless it's someone exceptional or we get to play it. It's like, nah, I'm good. Yeah,
Well, no, I agree with you. The problem with the Sunday show is if it's a good show, you're not going to get in. Around here, I'm going out to Oakland or San Francisco for the show, so by the time I get home, it's going to be midnight at the earliest, maybe one. And
right.
I get up at 4:30 every day, so that's 3.5 hours sleep, which I can do, and I'll make it through that day. But the problem is, I'm going to be tired that whole week.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
never going to catch up on it.
yeah, yeah. I
So,
understand that. I never catch up because I got two small kids, so I'm always tired. It's just like how I roll.
yeah, well, this guy right here gets me up at 4 every morning because he wants his breakfast. He's such a brat.
Yeah. All right, Todd. Well, everyone, again, the governor of Doom, Todd Severin. Make sure you check out Ripple and all his releases. Bandcamp is the best place to find them. Also on Facebook and all those other sites that social media sites, I guess. And yeah, be lookout. Don't forget the Ripple Fest that pop up throughout the world over the year. There's one in Texas, one in Germany. Any more that
There's
I'm missing?
there's two in Germany. There's one in Berlin, one in Cologne.
Okay.
We absolutely have the one in Texas going on right now. I just confirmed our third one is coming up in Sweden. We're going to do that
Nice.
in conjunction with Majestic Mountain Records. That's going to be in Gothenburg. We have a Ripple Fest London, which we've done 3 times already.
Hmm.
And we're in talks with the Desert Scene people who the Desert Fest shows to maybe start something up in Belgium.
Wow. Cool. Yeah. Ripple going worldwide, man. That's awesome.
It's fun. I mean, I get talks with people who want me to do one in Australia, and I want to do one up in the probably going to be doing out in the Baltimore area.
Okay.
Kind of like off alignment with the Maryland Doomfest.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're also talking about doing something up in the Northeast and maybe up in the Northwest. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's good music, man. You got to get to the people.
Well, don't forget. Let's not forget the Southeast here. So I feel like sometimes we get looked over. But Asheville is a really good place because it's 2 to 4 hours from pretty much a lot of big municipalities. We're 4 hours from Atlanta. We're 2 hours from Charlotte. We're 4 hours from Raleigh. We're 6 hours from Richmond if you're lucky enough to avoid Virginia drivers. We're 2 hours from Knoxville, 2 hours or 4 hours from Nashville. So yeah, we're kind of like in the middle, a really good spot. And there's some pretty good some breweries. Well, there's a lot of breweries around here. There's some pretty good venues around here too that would probably help you out. As a matter of fact, I can give you a contact's name and email if you have any bands looking to get over here that specializes in Stoner Doom shows.
I think Ripplefest Asheville sounds like it's going to be an ongoing concern.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can help you out behind the scenes for sure. But
That'd be fun.
yeah, man, for sure. All right, Todd. Well, let's not keep your dog. I don't want to chew your ankle or your records. So yeah, everyone, Ripple Music on Bandcamp. The CCR album, 50 left if you're interested in getting one. And be sure to check out the rest of the Ripple catalog and the Ripple bands and the Ripple future Ripple tributes and compilations coming up. So yeah, thanks Todd for coming on again. And
really?
One of these days, we will get you on for the hot takes episode we talked about last time. I take it you're still not a Rush fan?
Yeah, no.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get these hot takes out there because I got some too. So yeah.
Okay, I'm down for anything, man. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Anytime, dude. Yeah, it's really fun talking to you, and I like picking your brain about just like the business side because it's interesting to me. You know how the sausage is made on the other side of the curtain, basically. You know.
That's right. Yeah, I love it. Good talking to you, brother.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, and stay safe over there. Your window looks a lot calmer this go around. So, yeah,
it sure does.
Looks like you're in the clear. All right, Todd.
Man.
Take it easy.
Talk to you later.
Thanks,
bye.
For 45 years and keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.